I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my vision plays and
Hey, good evening, everybody, and I guess first of all I'll say thank you to MIEA for allowing PropertyGuru to present at the REN Summit. I don't know about all of you. I'm actually at the MIEA office, and I can tell you, I've got 6 people staring at me now, all very dedicated AV experts in front of me. So you can see MIEA has put in a lot of effort to make this a very professional event, and I'm quite impressed really walking into the office and seeing the setup. So well done, MIEA. I'm always impressed with the dedication that you guys put behind all your initiatives for the agents at large. So first of all, guys, I want to start off by giving you a brief overview on what I'm going to share today. Today we're going to talk about understanding the current consumer behavior and how this will help you close sales. By far and large, the bedrock of what I'm going to share with you today is all data. And I want to just put a caveat down there. When it comes to data, it can be very, very boring because data alone, is just numbers. But hopefully what you take back from today will be further than just the data that we share with you. But you have, proper analysis of what the data is sharing with you about, or what analysis that you can take out of the data. But I think more importantly, when it comes to the actual consumer, when actually coming to closing sales, it's really about actionable insights, right? So you give the insights that will allow, your customer, your client to take the next action, the next step. And hopefully, this data helps you take that one step further to close sales. So allow me to share with you, first of all, those of you who don't know me, I think, I was introduced as Sheldon Fernandez. And the question was whether or not I have any relation to Tony Fernandez. I'll outrightly say no, mainly because that's just factual. There's so many Fernandezes around, and if you come from the Malayali clan, you will know what I mean. But I've been with PropertyGuru for the last 5 years. I came in when the market was very, very different from where it is now when it comes to PropertyGuru. But today you'll know us as the largest property site in Malaysia, and we're obviously working very, very hard to deliver more value to our customers and consumers. We've got about 100 people with PropertyGuru today, all working hard to deliver on our mission, which is to help everybody seeking property, empower them with confident property decisions. I was previously from a tech space as well, online jobs, specifically JobsDB, a very big name in Singapore, very similar to PropertyGuru. And then I was brought into Malaysia to really, really grow the business. So again, my jobs experience and my property experience are very, very similar. But I just want to sort of take you through very briefly on what PropertyGuru is all about. Today we are Southeast Asia's largest and leading PropTech company across 5 markets. So we've got Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Today we serve more than 2.4 million property listings with over 23 million property seekers every month. This is by far the leading PropTech company in Southeast Asia. We started off in 2007 in Singapore, where we revolutionized the Singapore property market by taking everything that you see on newspaper and print to online. And we made property search more transparent for both property seekers and real estate agents. Now, over the decades, though, we've transformed from a property media powerhouse to a high-growth technology company, providing in-depth insights and solutions to over 45,000 agents monthly. So, being number 1 portal across all our core markets, we also host the region's most recognized property awards, events, publications, all across Asia. And on the technology front, our team continues to add value to our agent partners with data-driven insights, new agent features, mobile apps, mentorship through PropertyGuru Academy. Simply put it, we started off as a media listing company where you put your ads and we show it to consumers. Today, you've got a lot of apps, a lot of technology that support you in that process of actually owning a home. So, when we talk about PropertyGuru, we're really talking about wanting to be the trust platform for property seekers. And if I were to share with you, what we do to make ourselves a trust platform, you can easily relate this to you as an agent trying to be the trusted partner to a consumer wanting to buy a house, right? So if you look at the points that I've shared with you, put customer interest first and understand their needs. That's exactly what we do as a company, because we've got a razor sharp focus in terms of our journey on what does it take to be a trust platform for property seekers in Southeast Asia. And that is building trust. And that's our guiding principle really, which is to live in the consumer's world and the consumer experience and translate that experience onto our platform from their perspective, right? It is almost impossible to build trust if you don't understand the needs of the property seeker or the agent partners like yourself and the way you perceive the world as opposed to the way how we perceive the world. Now, trust is not an easy concept to achieve, but we believe it comes down to knowing your customer deeply, anticipating their needs, providing them with what they need, and then delivering immersive, personal, relevant experience consistently at every touch point. So if I were to put that in your shoes and how you should see customers, you should first understand the customer needs, wants, and therefore all your actions and your conversations and your solutions should match the needs and wants of the consumers from their point of view. And ultimately, delivering that level of service, that level of dedication, and that level of advisory to take up that trusted advisor role in their lives. Now, the benefit to you of doing this is very similar to the benefit of PropertyGuru doing this for all of you, which is your continuous support, your referral from your other agents, and obviously consumers, more and more consumers coming and using our services. And I'm pretty sure if in your case, more and more consumers, customers referring other consumers to buy from you. So, now, if we look at today's topic, there's really three big areas in which we focus our data efforts on. The first is transaction data, which is a big bulk of what has transpired in today's market. So that's all very factual because this is all data that is rock solid, right? So it's what people bought, who bought, where they bought, and what price they bought. So transaction data is very, very good from an historical point of view. Now, we're also very fortunate because of the 24 million property seekers coming to our sites all over the region. We get to see the current search activity, which is very relevant in today's environment when market sentiments are shifting, market conditions are shifting almost real time, right? So it's very different from the month of March to the month of July this year in terms of search activity. So we take that data sets as well as part of our raw data or our big data. Now, we don't just stop there. We also like to take a peek into the future data, the outlook of the market. And in that, we do a few things, but one of the most relevant thing is our consumer sentiment survey, where we ask twice a year, in each half, we survey consumers of about 1,000 over in various age range, in various income levels, as to what their future property decisions are going to be like, right? So if you combine this, you've got a very powerful set of data, which is you've got the history, which is the transaction data, you've got today based on search activity, and the future, which is the sentiment survey, right? So you can sort of take the trend upwards, right? Looking at what past transaction data, matching it to what yesterday's data to see whether that's relevant today. And if it's relevant today, is that similar to what consumers are telling us about what they're going to do tomorrow? Or you can do the complete reverse and say, look, what is it that consumers are going to do tomorrow? Can we relate it to what they're doing today and then match it with what has transacted in the past? And from there, like I said, you take all this data, it's just raw data, you do analysis. And it's very important as an agent, you're able to do some level of analysis. And we are here to help you from all three fronts. But like I said, the analysis is for you. When you put it in front of the consumer, it's got to be actionable insights. What is actionable insights? Very easy things to understand in order to take the next action. And I'll try to share as I go along with you some tips, about what actionable insights could be. Okay, so let's first look at the past transaction data. And, the one thing I'll tell you from this data you can see is total transactions from the year 2019, from 2019 to 2020 we've pulled these demographics from all those who have purchased data. And interestingly, you'll see when you look at, if your client is a male or a female in terms of decision making, those who put their name on paper clearly are the males. But this is no secret as well, right? To all those who got married, while it may appear the male is making the decision on paper, but really the influencer at the back is a female. So again, the data is what it is, but you also need to also understand, obviously, the reality of what's going on. But the other thing you can do from this point of view is, obviously, when it comes to young working adults, those who are earning for the family, chances are the younger kids, the males are the ones looking for good opportunities, and these are the ones transacting for properties. And you will certainly see this when it comes to distribution by race and age eventually. So when it comes to race, no secret that the Chinese are the biggest buyers of property in the Malaysian market. But with the exception of Selangor, we see more Malays buying properties during the same period. So again, when it comes to demographics in Malaysia as to who you're servicing in terms of each market, where the opportunity lies as well, right? So you've got a mix of clientele, one Malaysia, but knowing where their strengths are in terms of transacting in each market. This is how you could use this data. The last but not least is, as I shared with you, is age. And if you can see down here, it's no surprise 30 to 40 years old forms the biggest age range when it comes to transacting property. The reason why I say it's no surprise is you are usually at that life cycle of your entire lifespan where you're 30 to 40. You're either buying your first home, or you just got married, you're in a serious commitment, and even as you mature into this timeline, you're upgraders, right? So you're basically upgrading level of the size of your house, the location of your house, simply because you got a growing family. Life is never the same as you progress, right? So you're going to see this work well in your favor as well. But if you're really looking at who should I have as a clientele base, you already got the gender, you've got the race, and now you've got the age range. But one interesting fact, which is from those who buying, obviously at the age 30 to 40, you will see a complete reverse when it comes to who is selling, right? So it all makes sense as well, right? Those who are selling are anywhere between 40 to 60 years old. That forms the big parts, simply because these are all, they've done the first purchases, they've done the upgrading, and now they want to cash out on their assets. So you obviously have two spectrums of the market when you're an agent. You've got the seller and you've got the buyer. So if you're looking for prospecting in terms of inventory, these are the clienteles you want to obviously pay attention to. So really you've got one side of the spectrum, you're focusing on 40 to 60-year-old clienteles, and the other side of the spectrum, you're looking at 30 to 40-year-old prospects to help you do your job better. So hopefully that is some insights overall in terms of transaction data. Again, I didn't take median price down here. I didn't take location or price point or even type of property. Again, because if you're doing with big data, there's so much data for you to share, but we wanted to sort of give you an idea based on our analysis what actions you could take. So this is just another example of us bringing those information to you so you can take action. And these are actionable insights. Now, obviously, I'm going to touch on median pricing and all that, and we'll look at that when it comes to each particular state, which is clearly the next section we're going to go into. Transaction data in terms of preferred property now that we know the customer profile, right? So the first one, obviously, we'll focus on Kuala Lumpur. Now, you'll find in Kuala Lumpur that the majority of property purchased were condos and apartments. Again, it's no secret. The fact that it's city center and land is obviously very, very expensive. A lot of the developments itself are condo and apartments, which forms almost half of the transaction when it comes to Kuala Lumpur. So again, from an opportunistic point of view, clearly where to focus on. Now, but however, when it comes to pricing, I think you will see a bit different in terms of how the price point plays a key role, right? Whilst the majority, in property purchase have always been around 300 to 500, but you also see that growing piece of that pie from 2019 to 2020 in properties above 1 million, which is from 19% moved to 22%, and also from 500 to 750,000, which is from 17 over percent moving to 18 over percent. So you can see clearly the appetite in property markets in Kuala Lumpur, whilst the majority forms the 300 to 500,000 piece of the pie, but there's a growing appetite for good properties above 1 million ringgit. Right now, when it comes to specific location, the top 10 areas, this is where I guess median price plays its role, right? You take the highest average, lowest average in Kuala Lumpur, and you kind of draw the median average. But I think if you were to talk about price to consumers, it's very, very confusing, right? Median price, so here's the median price. Your property is above or below. All that is good and well, but sometimes price can be a very complicated topic to understand. And one way you could take this data and make it an actionable insight to consumers is really to tell them, look, if you're choosing, if you've got a client who's sort of, wanting to buy a property in Cheras and Stapa at the same areas and wanting to decide where is a better opportunity for me to buy, one good way to sort of translate this data from a consumer insights point of view is just ask them to look at the total transactions in the area, right, which is 1,606 in 2019 versus 218 in 2020. It is still the top area to transact. So it just simply says, in layman's term, if there's more people buying, that means the property value will probably go up. With more transaction, therefore, there's more demand, and if there's more demand, clearly supply is going to be something of a factor. So if that's a factor, then clearly prices are going to go up. So clearly it's a good place to buy, right? And the interesting thing about Kuala Lumpur as well, there's not much shift in the top 10, really, because you got Cheras, you got Stapa, you got Old Klang Road, you got Mont Kiara and Ampang, or KLCC, all in the mix. So you're always safe if your clients are looking in this area, because clearly there's demand for properties in this area, right? Now I'm just going to move on to the state of Selangor. Very similar data that we bring to you in each state, and you can see when it comes to property type, besides the condos and apartments, which is favorable in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, on the other hand, focuses very much on landed properties, terrace. But there's a rising demand, if you like, for condos and apartments, especially in the fringe of the urban areas. But when it comes to landed, hands down, terrace houses is the much sought after when it comes to the types of property, right? Now, in terms of property price, again, 300 to 500,000 is the sweet spot, I guess, for the local transactors, mainly around the affordability range in Malaysia, as it's widely known based on median income. But in Selangor, unlike Kuala Lumpur, you don't see this trend changing much year over year. It's roughly the same. So it's a very good market for affordable housing. And that definition when it comes to transaction is anywhere between 300 to 500 or 300,000 and below, right? Now, in terms of areas, I think what's notable really in the whole of Malaysia statistics when it comes to transaction in terms of area, when you talk about hotspots, Klang seems to be holding its position and also its volume really, really well, right? So you look at median price, it's gone up. Even the total transactions year to date is nowhere near to 2019, right? But they have managed to hold a price really well. So clearly people see value in locations like Klang. But if you look at if you look at the top 10 in KL and in Selangor over the last 2 years, not much change as well. Maybe what's notable really is the rise of or the fall of Kappa and the rise of Cheras, I would say, and other areas around those areas, right? Like Rawang and Serenda, for that matter, right? So again, if you want to look at actionable insights, it's very hard to sort of explain median pricing, the right price, etc. But if you look at total transaction, you know where the opportunity is and how easy it is to explain based on the law of economics, right? Demand and supply, right? To know how to make these a very quick, actionable insights for your customers. Now, going down south to Johor, you can see it's quite biased in terms of its preferred type of property. Terrace houses by far form the largest type of property. So quite frankly, if you're an agent and you're focusing on condo and semi-detached, you're very niche in your market, right? So you got to be very specialized in this type of development in order to get that level of sales that you aspire in your year. But if you take 2 years running, if you're focusing on terrace houses in Johor, clearly the opportunity there is abundant. Right now, next you will see in terms of price range. So again, very telling in Johor. It's all about affordable. Quite frankly, the rest, as related to the type as well, is almost non-existent. Right, a large chunk of Johorians transact between 300 to 500,000, and again, less than 300,000 more prevailing in the state of Johor. But look, that's Malaysian median income. So that really there's no secret. And I can also tell you, based on the new inventories coming into the market, we are all focusing on this group or this income level, because clearly that's where the demand is, at least in the near future. Right? In terms of location, Skudai, Johor Bahru, Batu Pahat, Tebrau seems to be where the major transactions are. And like every other state, you will find there's about 3 or 4 state areas that form the huge majority of the transactions, right? So, for example, if you're contemplating to buy between Skudai and Tebrau, which I understand is next to each other in Johor, very close to each other in Johor, clearly, if you're a customer you have a customer deliberating on this point, data is going to help you make the decision more confidently, which is better to buy in Skudai as opposed to Tebrau. And that's evident if you look at 2019 going into 2020, Skudai is still top, but Tebrau has sort of fallen backwards. So clearly, Skudai has got a massive opportunity when it comes to transacting by areas, right? So going down to the last state in Malaysia we have is Penang. So in terms of property type in Penang, I don't know about Penang Heights, but it's not condo, it's not terrace. These are by definition flats. Flats forms the biggest part of transaction of property types in Penang. I guess if you're a Penangite, you probably relate to this data better. Land is obviously more expensive. You're not looking at island, you're looking at mainland. But the data is the data, right? And that's where the opportunity is. But you also see obviously terrace houses, particularly in areas like Bukit Mertajam, which is where the data will suggest later on to know that that's where the opportunity is, not just in type but also in price point, right? Now, in terms of price range, so no secret, if you're going for flats, your budgets are very low. And the biggest piece of the pie is below 300,000 ringgit, right? Now, obviously, we all aspire to sell higher price, get more commission. I get that. And that's your motivation. But again, if you put your customer interest first and your customer needs first, these are the type of properties that satisfy their need. And it's evident from data. So hopefully now, I guess I heard some people say, if they have more loan eligibility, propose them a higher budget house so that you can earn more commission. You can do that. But if you're going to be a trusted partner and you're going to use data to help you make good decisions, you will eventually do what the customer needs first. And hopefully with that action, you are then seen as a trusted agent and you get referrals then, and therefore your $1 from one customer that you earn becomes $3 from 3 different referrals, right? So that's one way of looking at using data to your advantage, right? As I shared with you in terms of areas, no secret down here, Bukit Mertajam forms the largest of the areas when it comes to transaction. But unlike other states, you will see Penang is fairly spread out in terms of where people live, right? And the top 10 has got almost equal demands year over year. So quite positive in terms, if you're a Penang agent, your opportunities are spread across the island and across mainland. So something worthwhile pointing out for Penang. Okay, so that's really the data when it comes to transaction. And when it comes to current search data and activity, because you kind of already know transaction data this year, we decided not to sort of bring in terms of search areas, but look at two things: the sentiment study in terms of what actions the consumers said they're going to share with us and they're going to take in the short and the medium term, which is 2021. So we're going to share with you the second half 2020 consumer sentiment study. And based on our site, we're also going to show you trends. But these trends really are actionable insights for you to take action on. So I'll go straight into when it comes to insights. So you can see when it comes to the question is, I won't delay, or will you delay potential property transactions due to the COVID-19 situation? And those with low and median income basically are telling us, look, I'm not going to delay. I need a house. It's very, very important to me. I'm going to go and transact, right? But what's most interesting is the ownership. And you can see 51% of renters today are actually looking for their own space. They want to go into owning their space and they want to buy. So there's really, really big opportunity down there from your other pool of clientele, right, which is your renters. Because renters are looking to buy based on our sentiment survey. At least it's quite telling because, if 51% or 50% of your renters tomorrow become your client for buying, that's your ready clientele down there. So this is one actionable insight for you to take, is to follow up with all your renters and they're really looking at ownership. Right. The other pool of bucket is obviously people living with parents. Again, this work from home has opened up, a whole lot of different challenges when it comes to the actual activities happening in the house. One of the things we'll share with you is space. So clearly, those living parents are looking for their own home. When it comes to the age group, the younger generation seem to be very ready to put their decisions forward and to transact in property. So the younger generation here, meaning 22 to 29 years old, based on the sentiment survey, have already said, look, I'm going to come out and try to transact, right? Now, the question then is, when it comes to COVID, it's always been when. When are you going to come out and transact? So that came up in our question in terms of future property purchase. I'm still considering buying a property, and we talked about time frame and for what reasons and what have you, right? And you can see 1 in 6 respondents has basically said 2021, right? So there's a majority of consumers, we think, based on our survey and based on the pickup we've seen from the transaction data from Q2 to Q3. Hopefully we see that sort of in Q4 as well. But pretty much in 2021, we're expecting more people to take that bold decision to come out and say, look, I understand the times now, I understand the situation, and now I'm ready to transact. But that said also, 1 in 4 Malaysians or respondents basically said that they are ready to transact even in 2020. And that's evident in Q3 already, right? So very little are shying away from the decision to say, I'm not going to buy at all or none of the above. So, the aspiration to own the home among all Malaysians are still very, very strong. Now, when it comes to reasons for purchasing a new home, you can see investors obviously want to look at this opportunity in the market conditions to grab any potential wins they have. So they've come out very, very strong from an investment point of view. But if you think about it, the rest of the reasons are very, very strong from a purchase, own stay point of view, right? Greater convenience. Again, I need more personal space. I need more space for children and my parents. I'm currently renting, which is the renters, and I wish to possess my own home. The rest, I guess, is very similar. But, we don't normally see these reasons coming at the top reasons of purchasing a new home. And that's pretty telling given the times, right? So, again, actionable insights for you to take action. Now, when it comes to search activity, as I said, we wanted to share not with you, with regards to the location, type, and price. I think we shared enough when it comes to the transaction, which is right up to the 2020 to the year 2020. But what we wanted to share with you is about the trends, right? If you think about it, search activity has been, from our view, has been quite amazing, even during the COVID era. The only month which probably you don't see here is the month of April, which is our lowest month for the year, because we were just hit by COVID then. It was very, very low. But throughout the months, we've seen an accelerating trend in terms of search. There's more people coming to the site today in the month of November than we ever had in the previous months. So search activity has been steadily growing over the months. Demand clearly is there. And if we couple that with the information we knew about our sentiment survey, which is 6 out of the 10 respondents said, I'm going to transact in 2021, they are all doing their homework now. So I hope I'm giving you a bit of a light when it comes to a gloomy year in 2020, to suggest that 2021, we're definitely going to see a better year just based on the data we have. Right? Now, in terms of the days, again, from a trend point of view, if you're an agent, a lot of our traffic comes in on the weekday and not so much the weekend, which is normally what people would think happens when it comes to searching for property, right? But, one action you can take from here is to ensure that all your listings are properly listed on the property site, which is where the number one location that consumers come in search of property. Their first stop is always the property sites, the likes of PropertyGuru. Why? Because they do their research there in terms of the opportunity or the choices they have in the market. Now, if they're looking at the highest volume on Monday, then I encourage you by Friday to take all of the traffic on Sunday to ensure that you have your property listings done properly. Now, when I say done properly, it's not just a matter of putting up any listing. You got to make sure there's good pictures, there's, if you can, virtual tours, very good write-up about the property, very good reasons why this property will sell, because all this is very, very useful information property seeker will pick up on Monday, right? So this is just actionable insights again for you when it comes to what to do based on consumer trends. Now, when it comes to timing as well, if you are out there, doing property viewing or showing property viewing in the afternoon, chances are you're missing out on a lot of queries, right? Because if they are searching on a Monday afternoon and they're dropping you the lead, chances are the first agent that responds to them is going to be, the one that probably gets to build a relationship better. Right? Because you're the first one that responded to them, clearly you're giving them more importance. So I would suggest to you to do your daily management, if you like, your diary set in a way where you are ready to take on inquiries in the afternoon, because quick response to inquiries have proven to be a success story for most of our consumers when they share with us what type of agents would they trust or transact with. Those who attend to their queries really, really well. All right, so you could also play with regards to timing to sort of take these actionable insights. Right, and again, the highest time is lunchtime, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Right. So guys, I'm just sharing with you a very convenient way. Again, this is technology we wanted to share with you. We've got our market outlook ready for you to be downloaded now. All you need to do, again, very actionable. You take out your camera, you scan this barcode, and you'll have access to the PropertyGuru Property Market Outlook in 2021, right, which is some of the data I shared with you. So I'm going to put it on the screen for a while, give you opportunity to now pull out your phone, which should be right next to you. By now your camera should be on and you're already scanning this barcode and you have access to data that not many people will have. Again, this data is very, very important because it's the outlook. What consumers are telling us they're going to do next is all in this report. And it's not just the data, I shared you a lot more, right, in terms of the features that is needed or most wanted in any development. Believe it or not, balcony has become one of our top features to have in a condo, right? Those days, I guess, just not too distant in the past, balcony was viewed as a waste of space. I'm going to pay for that amount and, I may not need it. But now I want it. I want that outdoor feel, even if I'm in a condo, right? Because if you're going to live indoors and you're forced to live indoors for a period of time, that space is going to be very beneficial to you. So I hope by now you've already taken that. Now, I prepared this in anticipation for the golden question we always get asked every time we do a presentation, which is, Mr. Sheldon, do you know, or PropertyGuru, what are the hot spots for property now? Again, these are all data backed when it comes to transaction and when it comes to search. So I'm going to give you the privilege of answering a question in advance in the 4 key states, right? So when it comes to transaction, I put the property type at the footnote below, right? Condo for KL, Selangor, terrace houses, property price I put down there below, 300 for Penang, KL between 500, right? Now, when it comes to areas, these are the hot spots, right? KL, Bukit Jalil, a lot of activity around there. Pavilion 2, really good infrastructure, highways, upgrading of roads and infrastructure, and massive amount of new development. So everyone's getting there early. No surprise down there. Cheras with the new developments, KLCC, Bukit Damansara and Kepong for KL. Right, if you look at Selangor, Puchong, clearly that's where the opportunity is. People are moving into urban areas for suburban areas for affordability. So Puchong, Shah Alam, PJ, Subang and Kajang are the top when it comes to areas. Johor, Johor Bahru, Iskandar, Pasir Gudang, Kulai and Batu Pahat. When it comes to Penang, Timur Laut, Bahia Lepas, Georgetown, Bukit Bertajam and Batuat. So these are hot spots, and again, these are 2021 opportunity for you in the coming months. So I hope we give you these insights because, you've really got to, it's no secret, right? And I think if you're still doing things in the traditional way, traditional format, you probably need to change that ways. If not, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. And when it comes to tech, the simplicity is, how you are able to take these data, this raw data, analyze it, and as I said, make it an insights that you share with them that can be actionable. So you need to transform from a traditional agent to a tech-enabled trusted advisor. And that's the aspiration I guess everyone's working towards too, including ourselves. Right? So opportunities for agents, I'll just end off with this. It's not really my style to share 44 slides, but when I looked at the topic today, it's all data, and quite frankly, if I'm voicing over data and not showing anything in front of you, you won't be able to catch my presentation. Hence why we prepared a lot of slides for you. But I've come to the tail end. There's no more data to share, but I want to share with you opportunities for agent partners that we are working on in PropertyGuru, right? So number one is obviously leveraging on data. As you can see, this is where we're going to further invest in Malaysia. We're already Malaysia's largest property site, but we're not done yet. We're investing a lot. And one of the key things we've done over the period was to ensure that we are investing, right? So from Malaysia's largest property site, we're now, you've seen this in the news, we've acquired Malaysia's largest property data company, which is My Property Data. So the interesting thing about My Property Data, they've come with a wealthy range of historical data with over 6 million transaction lines that we have now as part of our analysis. We've also have profiles of consumers in terms of where they buy and what they were buying. But more importantly, My Property Data has built a value when it comes to valuation as a company and how they support banks when it comes to assessing the value of the properties in a much scalable and an automated way. So really, we're very proud to now have My Property Data as part of the PropertyGuru family, and you'll be rest assured in the near future we'll be rolling out valuable products for you as agents to consume to help you become trusted advisors to your customers. In 2021, we've got a whole lot of initiatives. I'm not going to elaborate much on those, but you can look forward towards things like Academy 2.0. So in terms of the tool and the skill sets we invest in to make you better at your job, we're going to roll out a very interesting rewards program because we're realizing that agents as well need to be rewarded based on their efforts and their success stories. We got more value-added products for our subscribers. Clearly, we are continuously doing that every year. So we'll be rolling out some new products for you. When it comes to agent partners, there's going to be personal branding opportunities, something we're thinking about that is revolutionary. So something for you to look forward to. And most importantly is customer excellence, right? In terms of the service we provide to you. But these are just some major examples I can sort of give a teaser to you to look forward to. But clearly there's going to be many more. With that, I want to thank everybody who's still in the summit, because I understand I'm the last speaker. It's me and the rest of the weekend for you that is standing between your ways. So thank you very much. And I'll see if I have any questions to answer. If not, I'll hand it back over to MIEA. Thank you.